We really gotta do this? Wah, 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 wah. Just because a few people actually liked Olive the Other Reindeer? Well, looks like I'm not done reviewing for this year. Thanks to a Netflix snafu, I ended up with one of the worst Christmas abominations ever. Made all the worse because it continues the degradation of one of my childhood favorites. Home Alone is one of the best Christmas movies of my generation and one of the biggest sleeper hits of the early 90s. Its premise is completely silly. A kid gets left behind when his family leaves for Christmas vacation and he has to protect the house from burglars. But it just resonated with audiences and at the time became the third highest grossing film ever. It turned Macaulay Culkin into a child superstar and elevated John Hughes from a good screenwriter to a great one. Home Alone is a classic example of a great movie that did not need sequels. Home Alone 2 was almost an exact retread of the previous one, just set in New York. Then Home Alone 3 came out, and just watch the Nostalgia Critics review of that turd. And yet, they still didn't know when to quit, as even without John Hughes on board, Fox made one more made-for-TV movie. So let's look into Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. Now you might think this movie was relegated to TV just because the previous sequels had so destroyed the franchise, but there's actually another reason. The producers thought this could actually be a launch pad to a full Home Alone TV series. Again, I loved the first movie, but whoever thought that was a good idea needs to seek drug counseling. Unlike the third movie, this one does bring back Kevin and the McAllisters. Not that you could tell, because since this is a cheap-ass TV movie, none of the original cast was brought back. So now Kevin is played by this humorless snot because even Macaulay Culkin's career wasn't ruined enough for him to stoop to this. And no, he's nothing like the Kevin of old. Kevin in the first two was monotone and snarky and showed off how good Culkin was at deadpan comedy. This kid is all high-pitched and generic and shows none of what made this character so endearing. Kevin is all bummed out because his parents are now separated and he's hoping to find a way to get them back together. Okay, is this a Home Alone movie or another Parent Trap remake? Also, he says he's 9 years old in this movie, even though he was 8 in the first one, which means he should have already been 9 in the second. Save the nerd rants, Rowdy. I'm sure there's a lot worse stuff to gripe about coming up.
Honey, we're gonna do all the same things we've always done. Sing Christmas carols, be with family and friends, put cookies and milk out for Santa. It's gonna be just the same.
When was the last time they had a Christmas like that? Did they even watch the first two movies?
You're watching Kevin.
Please let him go. I'll stay home alone.
No,
I've done it before.
don't remind me.
Yeah, I mean, all he did was save the house from getting cleaned out. Why let him do that again? Because his brother and sister are making his life miserable, Kevin sneaks out to head for his dad, who is now living with his new squeeze, some wealthy socialite named Natalie.
Oh, nuts. Just when things were getting good. Nice house, huh, Pumpkin?
Sure is, Marv.
What?
You sure you don't want to rob it?
My robbery days are over.
Fred Stewart as Marv! Oh, don't get me wrong. I totally get why Daniel Stern wouldn't touch this movie with a 39.5-foot pole, but you replace him with the guy who played the insane living radio on Third Rock from the Sun? Yeah, because these two are mirror images of each other.
Class operation, huh? 3 words, Vera. Kid, Nat, the...
You sure we can pull it off? I mean, without Harry making the plans?
Look where Harry's plans kept landing me, huh? In jail.
So not only have the McAllisters broken up, but so have the Wet Bandits. Harry is nowhere to be found here, Marv has started dressing like him, and he's now partnered with this floozy.
gonna wait for the royals to arrive. Do-do-do-de-do. And then we're gonna kidnap the prince. Oh, don't kidnap me, I'm fancy.
Just walk to the police station now. It'll save yourself a lot of pain. So while Kevin's dad plays gold digger in reverse, Kevin shows up and suddenly discovers that living in an upper-class suburban Chicago home isn't nearly as grand as his potential new sugar mama's digs. So now this movie has apparently become Richie Rich. How many Macaulay Culkin movies are they gonna cop out on? By the way, let's recap. In the first two movies, the kid was alone because his parents missed him while in a rush. In the third, it was because he was sick and his parents kept leaving on business. Here, it's because he ran away and chooses to stay with his future stepmother in her palace.
It's called a dumbwaiter.
Open sesame.
Wow, this place is awesome.
Meanwhile, the Bonnie and Clyde rejects show up again to get the lay of the house and plan their kidnapping.
Planning. Preparation. Preparedness. Be prepared. Be a prepared preparator, huh? That's my motto, and that's why I'm...
A Boy Scout.
No, the boss. Huh? Who's the boss?
You're the boss.
No, Tony Danza's the boss! You are a pathetic replacement for one of the best comedic actors of my generation!
It's Marv.
Wow, it's like the gags in the first movies, but whether it's the bad actors or the unentertaining music, it's completely unfunny!
You!
Hello, Marv.
You've gotten shorter since I last saw you.
I think we got the lay of the land. I'll be back!
Kevin, what happened?
It wasn't me. It was the burglars.
The burglars.
Yeah, and I recognized the one guy. Marv, did I ever tell you about him?
So yeah, I guess Kevin never did tell his parents about the bandits. Maybe because if he did, they'd get overprotective and keep him under lock and key. Which, given everything that happens to him, might not be a bad idea!
Come on, Marv, he's just a little boy.
Yeah, well, I got big scars from that little... This time, he's not gonna mess me up, because this time, I got an inside man.
Prescott is a good person to stay away from.
You're telling me. He's one of the bad guys.
Kevin, Prescott is a lonely man. The only thing he has is this job. And between you and me, he hates working here. But to do what you're suggesting...
Then it all makes perfect sense.
Why do I have a feeling that I know who the inside man is? We get a bunch of filler comparing Kevin's life at the mansion compared to the rest of the McAllisters because that's what we expect to see in a Home Alone movie. In fact, we're nearly an hour into this thing, and I don't think this kid's been in either Home Alone for 5 minutes! The Bumblers crash Natalie's party, and of course Kevin has to stop him because no one notices that they're not on the catering staff.
Kill him!
Yeah, you just saw that! Those two saucepans flip up in the air in slow motion with their contents completely staying put until they land on the bozos' heads. Once again, no one believes Kevin, even though he states he got them on tape and yet doesn't play the tape to prove it. Oh, and also, no one noticed the bandits' van parked outside the house! And we get a scene where Natalie finally shows her true colors and turns out to be a biatch after all.
If you ever do anything like that again, you'll be out of this house so fast your head will spin. So your father's getting divorced. Boo-hoo. Everyone's parents get divorced.
It just seems tacked on at this point to make us not like her. Newsflash, I don't like any of these characters! Meanwhile, instead of doing the smart thing and running for Alberta, the bandits prepare for the big grab. Kevin again tries to throw the monkey wrench by eliminating Prescott, but...
Hey, Mom. We're here.
Mom?
Oh my God, I did not see that coming! Look, maybe I'm too savvy, but yeah, I saw that red herring a mile away. It would have made for a nice twist, but Kevin blatantly stating he believes it's Prescott gave it all away. Kevin and Prescott bond during their incarceration, and they realize they can use the dumbwaiter to get out. And what follows next, comparing this to the beloved burglar trap scenes from the original, is just not fair.
You better stay. Ow!
Over here! Yes.
Gotcha.
Remember back when Kevin laid an entire battle plan for the house? Now all he does is set up one big saucepan, one rigged cabinet, the remote plane, and the remaining traps are built into the mansion. Were they even trying?
Bar, revolve, sesame.
Bar, stop.
Oh! Spin faster. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Good night.
So the burglars get caught just as everyone shows up to realize Kevin was telling the truth all this time. Dad just up and decides he can't break up his wife and kids, and everyone's a big happy family again.
Music on.
Snowfall.
Oh, give me a break! So that's why Kevin's always able to come out on top in the end. He has a direct connection to God. This was not a Home Alone movie! I can tell you what it is, though. Stupid, dull, boring, and slow, which given that it's less than 90 minutes, is saying something. The pacing is terrible. There's almost no connection to its predecessors, and nobody shows any charisma. It would be bad enough if this was some generic TV Christmas movie, but the fact that it bears the title of a childhood classic is what pushes this thing into visceral hatred. It sucks boulders. Go hunt down a copy of the first movie and accept no substitutes. So yes, if this is my ultimate punishment, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to those who liked Olive. I'm sorry to those who liked the Family Guy episodes, but you gotta cut me some slack here. I need something to get back into any kind of holiday spirit. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Now that's what I'm talking about. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from TV Trash.